So, back for another Funconventional, and this time we're going to be looking at Frosmoth, probably the most overwhelming win for a Pokemon so far in Funconventional, which is quite impressive. But I do agree, I want to use Frosmoth. It is one of my favourite Pokemon from the new generation, and I was hoping it would be good. I guess we're going to find out if it's good in the coming week, but Ice Scales is such a cool ability. It makes it bulkier than Goodra, which is absolutely insane. Like, everyone knows how specially bulky Goodra is, and Frosmoth with Ice Scales is more bulky than that on the special side. But it's really not physically bulky, which does kind of let it down, and its speed is a very awkward one. It doesn't outspeed Dragapult at +1, which would have been used so much if that was the case, but unfortunately it is in kind of a middling speed tier. It's just about fast enough to make use of the Quiver Dances, kind of. But yeah, 65 speed is kind of an awkward one if you're a Mon that's probably going to want to just set up and sweep. But there we go. It's one of the few Mons with Quiver Dance. Quiver Dance being one of the best setup moves in the game. Getting special attack speed and special defense, three boosts to stats is always very, very nice, and not many moves do that. Quiver Dance is very nice for it. It's got very good special attack as well, so it is actually going to be doing some pretty reasonable damage after a Quiver Dance, but yeah, not fast enough after one Quiver Dance. But that's why you need to go for max Airstreams after you've Quiver Danced. So that's one of the reasons why we've got Hurricane on this Frosmoth. We've also got the weakness policy on Frosmoth as well, because I've seen a very, very obvious partner for Frosmoth, and yeah, weakness policy will go very nicely with that as well. And then you've got the 3 coverage in Ice Beam, Hurricane, and Giga Drain. I'm not sure that Bug Buzz is necessary as coverage. It's going to be one of its stabs as well, and it's going to be as strong as Ice Beam, and reducing their special attack may be a bit overkill when you've got Ice Scales and Quiver Dance. So I guess that's supporting the rest of the team, but yeah, it's probably a bit overkill, and I think the Ice Beam, Hurricane, and Giga Drain are much better coverage as well. Giga Drain giving potential recovery as well, even with Grassy Terrain if you wanted as well. And Air Slash if you wanted an accurate move outside of any potential rain with Hurricane. But Hurricane, you're going to be going mainly for max Airstreams, so I think that Hurricane is going to be a bit better because it's slightly stronger than Air Slash as well. It's one of the main toss-ups between running Charizards with Hurricane or Air Slash. Hurricane is very awkward in the sun, but it's slightly stronger, and that slightly stronger is significant. So it could be on Frosmoth as well, but investing all its defenses into all its EVs into defense, more like, lets it live a Phantasm from Life Orb Dragapult, and then it'll be able to hit back with an Ice Beam, which is going to do a very, very good amount of damage to Dragapult. Investing all its defenses, because Ice Scales is going to double the special defense. Don't really need to invest too much in HP and special defense. You need to patch up its defenses, and with the weakness policy, you don't need too much in special attack either. You'll be able to do very reasonable damage when your weakness policy is going to activate. You're weak to a lot of things. You're probably going to get KO'd to most rock and fire moves, unless it's a special fire move like Heat Wave. But yeah, there's some ways to activate your own weakness policy, and we'll come to that. But another interesting calc that I looked at was that Assault Vest Frosmoth can survive a max flare, well, max wildfire, it would be, G-max wildfire from Charizard in the sun, which is highly amusing. I don't think this one can, because you need a lot more special defense to be able to survive that. Maybe that was Life Orb. Maybe you can survive regular with Assault Vest, if you Dynamax, that is. But with Assault Vest, like, you could treat it like a Goodra. Goodra tends to run Assault Vest as well, just to really overkill its special defense. Why not do that with Frosmoth as well? And Frosmoth actually has some really good supporting attack moves as well in Struggle Bug and Icy Wind. Again, a bit too slow to make use of the Icy Wind itself, but it's still going to be able to do it for its partners as well. And Struggle Bug kind of doing what Max Flutterby would do, but without the need for a Dynamax. And then Mirror Coat, because you're not going to be KO'd to almost any special move, you'll be able to eat that up and then do a huge amount of damage back. So this Frosmoth, treat it like a Goodra. Goodra's okay. Goodra's picking up because Sun's picking up, so but that's kind of the opposite of what should happen for Frosmoth, because if Sun's picking up, don't use Frosmoth. But well, and that's exactly the point in the meta that I'm going to be trying to use Frosmoth, but here we go. Yeah, there's a few more coverage moves you could have on the Frostmoth if you don't want Mirror Coat. You could definitely drop it for Bug Buzz, its stab move, and then one of the other coverage moves as well. Infestation as well, being able to trap Pokemon. That could be quite nice if they're not able to KO you. If they're like special attackers, then you trap them with Infestation. You're probably going to do more damage to them than they are to you, so that could be reasonable as well. Then the final one is going to be it's still a supportive Frostmoth, the Assault Vest one, but this one's even more supportive because it's actually got a reasonable amount of usable status moves as well. On this one, I don't know whether I'd run Ice Scales or Shield Dust, because Shield Dust is still a fantastic ability, but then it's got to contend with Ice Scales, and do you trade being able to be faked out for double special defense on a Focus Sash set? I'm not too sure. And those EVs should just be 252 as well. 252 special attack, 252 speed. That you don't really need Focus Sash with those EVs, but yeah, Tailwind, Helping Hand, White Guard, very good support moves. Tailwinds has been kind of forgotten about on the middling speed tier Pokemon because people are just going for instant speed boost with Tailwind, so like Prankster, Tailwind, instant speed, but you can still Tailwind and be faster for the next 3 turns. That would still work, and that's what the speed does as well on the Frostmoth. They outspeed Dragapult in Tailwind, so people have forgotten about that as well. And Helping Hand and Wide Guard are very good support moves as well. Has the potential to dual screens, has the potential to Feather Dance as well. Not many Pokemon use Feather Dance in this format. I guess there's a few Charmers, but and that does exactly the same thing as Feather Dance, but Feather Dance can patch up its special defense as well, which could be very nice. And I'm not sure if I would run Shield Dust or Ice Scales on this Frostmoth. So, like I was saying, I think there's 2 very obvious partners for Frostmoth. For some reason, Hitmontop likes to be paired with Moths, because everyone knew about Top Moth back in, 2013 it would have been? I guess somewhat 2018 it popped up as well. But then that kind of turned into Persian. But anyway, Top Moth. That used to be Hitmontop and Volcarona, and now it can very easily be Frostmoth and Hitmontop, because Hitmontop has access to Bullet Punch. So it's one of the prime candidates to be able to self-activate the weakness policy on the Frostmoth. And it's got the Fake Out with Intimidate as well, to be able to patch up the defenses on the Frostmoth. It's got White Guard for all those Rock Slides that Frostmoth would hate. They could always just Dynamax and Rockfall, but if they've already used their Dynamax and they're going to go for Rock Slide, you can just White Guard with the Hitmontop. So Hitmontop seems like a very obvious partner for Frostmoth as well. And also because Frostmoth is weak to, really weak to Rock, it's really weak to Fire, surely Rain is the partner for Frostmoth, because then you're either going to scare off all the Fire types and Rock types. I guess if they're Tyranitar, they're going to come anyway just to counter your Rain, but yeah, being able to weaken any potential Fire moves into the Frostmoth as well would be really nice. If they're like going for non-stab, Heat Waves or whatever from Togekiss, that's not going to do much at all. If you're in the rain, I guess they would just go for Air Slash and Airstream, but other Pokemon go for special fire moves. So yeah, Rain I think makes a lot of sense to pair with Frostmoth. So it may be slightly obvious what I'm going to be using next week. At least 3 of the Pokemon that I'm going to be using next week with the Frostmoth. But yeah, that's going to be it for Frostmoth. I hope it works. I really hope that this coming week is going to be successful, because I really like Frostmoth and I really want it to work. And no one's made it work yet, so hopefully this next week is going to show that it can actually be a thing. But yeah, that's going to be it for Frostmoth. So the next poll, as always, I'm going to put 3 of my own comments into the comments section and like the Pokemon that you want to be featured in the next Funconventional. I'm going to be bringing over Grapploct from the previous poll. The other 2 Pokemon were Phalanx and Shinotic. I think it's pronounced Shinotic. Shinotic? I don't know. I'm going to go with Shinotic, but yeah. So there'll be Grapploct, Phalanx, and Shinotic in the comments. So like the comment that you want to be not used yet. It'll be considered for the poll for the next Funconventional, and then potentially chosen from them to be put into the next week of Believe in Boyt. So also put in comments the suggestions for Pokemon you want in the next poll as well, and go and like other people's comments as well, because I in general choose the most liked Pokemon from not the poll to be put into the next poll, if that makes sense. So share all the likes, and then we'll see if something can follow up Frostmoth as well as I really want Frostmoth to work well, so maybe the next Pokemon's going to have a tough time. That's going to be it for Frostmoth. Thanks for watching.